In the first part of this video, we saw how Thornbury FM had an equal opportunities policy which guided the conduct of presenters. We learnt that Ben Park and Stephen Gardner had aired a spoof quiz featuring racist caricaturing of and insults towards Hispanics. James Wilson rejoined them to continue the on-air humour of a similar vein. The station's first offensive presenter was the elderly Chris Connery, who had interspersed his interview with the representative of the SGAP with remarks about chapatis and euthanasia, and had made other suspect comments on other occasions, including an Arab joke. He had criticised on air those who had complained, and claimed that he wanted to interview people from different countries in order to talk about life for them in Thornbury. However, when he interviewed Methodist minister Iesinga Vunipola, he talked about rugby. He posted online a commentary that included the statement that people in Thornbury should feel lucky and appreciate the town because it had no ghettos yet. Complaints about the station resulted in committee members attending diversity training. I now continue. This is what the station put in its October 2006 newsletter about that training session. Subsequent to that training, did things improve? Well, no. Park and Gardner went ahead with their Hispanic insults. Connery made comments about things foreign and belittled anti-racist efforts. In the 7th Thornbury FM broadcast in autumn 2008, it immediately became clear that presenters had been warned not to air any untoward comments. On his first programme, Connery claimed to have been so worried that he had had difficulty sleeping and was wary of saying one thing wrong for fear of being reported. However, that did not stop the presenters of the Musical and Waffle Show from poking fun at the warning. On their first programme of the autumn 2008 transmission, there was the NWA acronym illusion, and if you don't understand, there's always Wikipedia. Other websites are also available.
It's NWA.
Oh, what? That's an acronym for something, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's for, but it's a song called Express Yourself. I can hear the collective panic of directors of Thornbury FM.
The following week, Park and Gardner eventually latched on to Wilson's wives or girlfriends reference.
But she, of course, a wag. She's a wife and girlfriend. She's the wife or fiancée even of Joe Cole, a footballer, Ben. It's very tidy.
She can't be a wag in the sense of being a wife and girlfriend. She must be a wife or girlfriend. But
they call it wives and... I don't want to get into semantics. They say wives and girlfriends. That's what it was called from the World Cup, wasn't it? It came from there. But we'll have to look into great detail on that. We'll do a Wikipedia search or something. And also Danny Bear is there as well.
I've just realised why. Yeah. I think James had the same realisation.
Let's move on.
Move on.
That's the Music and Waffle team. White and not knowing equal rights satisfactorily. That's also an acronym, by the way. Other acronyms are also available. By the 8th broadcast, the racist humour had been finely tuned as to be almost imperceptible.
What's been happening? Tell me.
Oh yeah, basically we've had Fiona from Wolverhampton said she took a black panther when she left her job at the zoo.
Oh, right.
Bit dangerous, I thought.
Not being funny, the Bronx Zoo in New York's closing, isn't it? So maybe they're taking some pets with them, maybe.
Well, she can maybe set it on.
The Bronx Zoo had never been about to close down, just the expensive to maintain Sky-Fari cable car ride. 80% of the Bronx population is black or Hispanic. However, there had also been subliminal messages, possibly unintentional, in some of the station's output, especially on Terry Wood's lackluster Thornbury Global programme, where some of his deliberately Christian guests gave out what I consider to be inappropriate messages about Africa and its people. Thus, on the 18th of November 2008, Val Harding claimed that she had to move to the UK, leaving her country of birth, South Africa, because of a black economic empowerment policy. 1 week earlier, Anglican chorister Ken Mitchell talked of having to show Ugandan guests how to use a bathroom, and referred to the smell of Africa. Ken Mitchell is now the treasurer of Thornbury's community radio station, and personally I think that stinks. One big problem is the poor understanding that so many white people have of issues surrounding what constitutes racism, what is a diverse multicultural society, and what is national character. Most people are unaware, lacking in basic knowledge, not interacting sufficiently with others, and, as a result, completely confused and unable to make any sense. This recording of another ghetto-fearing Thornbury resident came from the Chinese Inclusive Programme, aired on the 11th of May 2009.
What is your opinion on multicultural diversity in Thornbury?
I have no personal objections to seeing people of different cultures living in the Thornbury area. What I don't want to see are any enclaves of any culture appearing. Being the British nation, the British Isles, obviously I feel that we should predominantly be British, but what constitutes being British is actually a very diverse mix, because even if you look back a few hundred years, there were a lot of different cultures coming into the British Isles. You know, the even so-called native British people are actually made up of quite a few cultural elements. I just don't want to see any ghettos of any description forming, and I don't want to see any increase in the crime rate. I realise that there's no reason why any culture should bring in a lot of crime, and obviously in the majority of places all over the world, law and order has to prevail, otherwise there would be complete anarchy. So to regard any culture as being of a criminal nature would be extremely wrong, and I don't believe that is so. But I don't want to see us lose what I think of as being Englishness. But given the nature of the landscape around us, I think to a large extent cultural identity would be preserved anyway, because the landscape doesn't lend itself to creating any other culture in a large amount. It's one of those things that we have to accept, I think, is that we will see other cultures increasingly coming into the area, and I don't feel it would be kind to make life difficult for them.
Whilst residents of Thornbury might think that racism is not an issue in the immediate area, there have been recent racist incidents in South Gloucestershire involving attacks on African Caribbeans. Bradley Stoke. Cribs Causeway. On Asians. Patchway. And on Chinese. Cadbury Heath. The British National Party fielded 3 candidates in the 2007 elections for South Gloucestershire Council, with at least 1 voter in every 8 voting for the BNP in those wards. Stoke Gifford. Hannam. Patchway. The BNP gained slightly more votes in the 3 South Gloucestershire wards than in the 3 Bristol City Council wards that it also contested. If you think those racist incidents and those electoral wards are not so close to Thornbury, then you need to know that in March of 2009 the BNP attempted to hold an event to raise funds for its Euro elections campaign in Falfield, just 3.5 miles from Thornbury. BNP members were to rendezvous in the car park of the Huntsman Inn and proceed to the Park Hotel. The event was cancelled under police advice, but a small counter-demonstration still went ahead outside the pub. Any Thornbury residents who still think this has nothing to do with the town itself need to know that racist crime exists in the local police beat. And here is the data for the 5 years to March 2009. I'm not going to comment on the detection rate. You can all make your comparisons with published data for other areas. However, it is generally agreed that a lot of racist crime goes unreported, so these official statistics probably do not reveal the full picture. Sadly, poor awareness and confusion about living in a multicultural society is being passed on to the next generation. Here is a clip from the Castle School's presentation on diversity, aired on Thornbury FM's online programming on the 26th of June 2009. What on earth was Thornbury FM thinking of by having this suspect piece of muddled gibberish as a downloadable podcast?
We're going to be talking to you about Islamophobia. We think that some people have a stereotypical view of Muslims. They think they're either terrorists or members of the Taliban. Yesterday we learned that Muslims are not like this. There are a wide range of Muslims, but overall they are very nice. They are religious, but there are some who are in the Taliban or some are terrorists.
Muslims are normal people and deserve to be treated normally and respected as any other. Some Muslims admittedly can be aggressive.
So, you see the focus on Islam under the heading of diversity, and the assumption that Muslims are somehow outsiders, and an implicit suggestion that they are probably something to do with Afghanistan. This confused piece does nothing to promote better understanding, as it later appears to refute its opening statements. As always, racism is based on ignorance. They just don't know it. The appalling thing is that all the broadcasts referred to in this video have been made while the station has been chaired by David Primrose, who is also chair of South Gloucestershire's Corporate Equalities Forum. Not only did he allow offending presenters to remain on the airwaves with seeming impunity, but he appeared to accept that negative comments were suitable for airing and for podcasts. It is time to remove from the airwaves all those presenters who think it is acceptable to make racist comments in the form of a joke. Racism is no laughing matter.
White power, 1, 2, 3, 4! Was my country going down the drain? We are all at fault now. We are all to blame. We're letting them take over. We just let them come. Once we had an empire, and now we've got a slum. Wipe out for England. Wipe out today. Wipe out. Jump, 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 jump. Jump and let them see love and unity. One big family, togetherness, yeah. Jump and let them see love and unity. One big family, togetherness. Wine and let them see love and unity. One big family, togetherness. No, wine and let them see love and unity. One big family, togetherness.
The majority of whom don't even vote in local elections.
Speak for yourself. I vote.
Tell the difference. Today, there's a challenge to our new city council.
You do not vote BNP.
I don't vote Labour, but
Political stagnation has helped to
joke,
set
like,
precedent
yes.
with problems which have